Either Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising, welcome to your reading for the week of November 7th through the 13th. You have an eclipse coming in your sign this week, and we have the 1111 portal. These are forces that are allowing you to finally break free. There is such a restlessness about you. There's this energy of just wanting to charge out of a situation. Like you've completed a cycle, you know it's done, but somehow you're being held in place. It's like, you've had a job transfer come up, but you have to finish your 2 weeks notice. Or you bought a house, but you can't move yet because you have to wait for the other people to move out of it. Or a relationship is ended, but you still have to maybe tell the other person the relationship is over and you've been waiting for that right moment. Or, you're just waiting for the courts to finish up a process. It's like you're chomping at the bit. I see you're like rocking in place, like chomping at the bit, like horses behind the starting gate at the Kentucky Derby. They know the race is about to happen. The preparation has been done. They are ready. They're ready to go to complete. So maybe you're getting ready to launch a new website or to do something big. It's like this energy of you're tired of being held in place. And I have to say, I believe that this week you get to break free. Excuse me. You get to break free. Wow. All right, so let's see what we have here. Oh, I was laughing when I turned on the camera because your energy of being stuck at the starting line was there. Here we have this Knight of Swords. Look, he's charging out. The gate to the castle is barely up there. It's like it barely cleared the horse's head and he had to duck low underneath it to get out the door. Kind of like, when you go to get your oil changed and it seems like to take forever for the guy to open up the garage door to let you out. You're like, I gotta go, I got things to do, right? It's got that energy. It's like you're sitting there waiting for it just to clear enough for you to get out because you're tired of sitting on go. You've been sitting on go. We have this Queen of Cups energy here, but what is so funny is right here, Taurus, there is the symbol of Taurus. And she's holding her cup and she's looking off into the distance and she's ready. Like, okay, so her shirt, okay, so this is really important. Her shirt there, look, it's blue. That's your truth. But the energy of the purple, of knowing intuitively what your truth is, it's like it's almost being brought up from the very core of your being, and then there's this gold, like it's like you're ready to shine out into the world. You're ready to be released. You have something really promising from this full moon coming, something really amazing. So here in the area of trying to figure everything out, the Page of Wands, but again, there's the water element in this fire element, and she's looking off into the future. You have been waiting and waiting and waiting, and you have been waiting for the right moment. It is a timing situation because what has been draining your energy here, we have this Seven of Swords. Look, this guy is hanging out with whoever thinks belongs to him, but he is looking at her, and she's got the peacock feather, the sign of Hera, but also the sign of confidence and of the being the queen and knowing it. And he's looking at her, and the Seven of Swords is, how do I get from where I'm stuck to where I want to be? How do I get there? This and it's been driving you crazy. We've got the Seven of Swords and the obstacle. There's just been all this energy. So we have the Seven of Swords and the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. There is energy here around, for some of you, betrayal or a change of mind. Trying to figure out what is the best way to move forward. So for some of you, it could be that. For the majority of you, though, this feels like, oh my God, and we have the Page of Swords here too. So of these 9 cards sitting here, well, 10, 5 of them, fully half of them are swords. So you've been way up in your head. It feels very much around the timing. And so here you go. You're charging out of the gate. That is the key to the situation, is that eclipse, that 1111 gateway, this opens up the gate. It allows you out. You are free to go. And yet the way forward is not to rush. The way forward is not to rush. As much as that's what you really want to do, Taurus, you're more sensible than that. So I would really recommend that you lean into your sensibility, and you take the time to do it right. To do it right. You don't want to have to redo it. So I think the release, the let go, the getting out of the gate, that part happens. I think the decision to release yourself from a situation, yes. But when you get to when you start on the path to where you want to go, strategy is key. Strategy is key. So let's go back to the Kentucky Derby here and all the horses, right? Once the gate lifts and they all charge off, each horse has their own strengths. And so say that it's hard, fast track. Well, some of the horses do really well on that, but some do better in mud. And so maybe it's a muddy track. And so they will stay to the outside and let all the other horses jockey around. Jockey, that's funny because jockeys ride them, for position along the inside track, but that's where the mud is the deepest because the water's been running in there. And you have the horse that's kind of on the outside. And it's very much Taurus energy, being patient, waiting for the right opportunity, staying on the firmer ground because not so many horses have gone over to chew it up, and it's not so messy, and there's not all these bodies slamming into each other, and the horse is on the outside, and it's waiting, and as they're all fighting and they're wearing each other out, and this one's taking the lead, and that one's and the ones that have the speed at the first, they start to fade, and the other ones come on, but you're back there running your race. Run your race. Because when the time is right, the opening will come, you will maneuver in, you will get into position, and you get to cross the finish line first. There is a need to be very strategic. And this strategy comes from using your intuition. It doesn't come from overanalyzing. Way too much analyzing going on here with the Seven of Swords and the Nine of Swords and this rushing forward energy. Yes, you're free. You can get out of the gate, but then you stick your sword in the ground. You sit down and you ground. You ground your energy. Taurus, you need to be grounded. And grounding is how you manifest. Grounding is solid and is stable. And manifestation, you've got Uranus and Taurus, and this looks like Uranus and Taurus. This is the lightning bolt. The sun is conjunct Uranus at the time of, the moon is conjunct Uranus at the time of this eclipse. It's important. This is the idea, but you ground it. And in the background here, you literally have what looks like an eclipse happening. You ground your energy. You settle in. You find your stride. You figure out what is the next move. You take your time. He's meditative. He's contemplative. He's balanced. There's a need for balance. So yes, you've been aching and itching to get free of a situation. How you transform the situation, you have the Six of Cups. It's learning lessons from the past. It's connecting with your soul tribe. It's remembering what works and what doesn't work. What feels good and what doesn't feel good. This is really going to be trusting your emotions to navigate, not using the sword. It's not about charging forward. It's not about using your analysis. It is about being grounded and allowing the seasons to change. Because here we have fallen leaves. Here we have like that sword's been sitting there long enough that a plant has climbed up it. We have the different colors here of leaves, and so we have the red of the fall and the yellow and then into the green, and the green are coming in, and I feel like there's a cyclical change of time. There's a divine timing aspect, and this, look how young, right? And this is older. There is going to be a passage of time. Your patience will pay off. So here in your resources and how do you bring in and manifest in the area of resources? Resources, of course, is financial, but it's also emotional. It's your energy. It's all of the resources, right? Because we have the Queen of Cups here. So this is definitely about your emotional energy, about what fills up your cup of joy. And here we have the pages of swords. So the knight and the page. This one's looking, though, to the future. And it's sitting. And it's looking for the opportunity to come in. And it's far enough off that she needs to use a little spyglass to see. But she's prepared. And in the heart space, you are supposed to be being prepared. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles in the heart space says you need to work on yourself. So let's say you got out of a relationship that doesn't work for you. And there could be a business relationship. And maybe you need to work on a skill. So that when you go to the next position, you're working on the skill, you're developing the skill, you become the master at that skill, and you can rise through the ranks that way, right? But because we have the Queen of Cups sitting here and this card that looks very much like a relationship situation, I think for a lot of you, especially with the Six of Cups here and this eclipse happening, if you were a Taurus rising, this would be happening in the 7th house of partnership. And so I think for many of you, this could be a romantic component to this. Well, I want to say a relationship component to it. It could be a relationship that you have with your parent or your child. There's no lovers here, but there's a situation that feels like you desire something you don't have. And so it could be a power position, and you want people to look up to you. You want to have more authority where you work. You want to have more money. You want to have more, it feels like authority. Respect. Like you want people to look to you and to trust your judgment and to know that you know what you're doing. And whether that's in a personal relationship or at work, right? There's this need to feel on top of your game. This Eight of Pentacles is a blacksmith, and he's working on a horseshoe. Now, that would be definitely manifesting your own brand of luck, right? A horseshoe, luck. But this feels like creating something that fits right for the type of track you're on. Right? So if it is a hard, fast track, there's one kind of shoe the horse will wear. And if it's muddy, they're going to wear another. Just like, if you are a runner and you're doing distance, then you need a certain kind of shoe. But if you're a sprinter, you need a different kind of shoe. It has that energy around it. And so this is self-mastery, but it's about learning the right skill. But because it's in the heart space, it feels like understanding where you fit. What fits you, and where do you fit? There's a fitting in energy that comes through with this. I love the outcome card. You have the Empress. I'm going to have to do a little, because I don't need, she's naked. So she's here in the dark, in the light of the full moon. So here we have the eclipse. And over time, what was old is reborn anew and vital and vibrant and prolific, but it's going to take a cycle. It's going to take some time. This is not an overnight thing. There's a self-mastery in the heart space of understanding your worth, your value. What do you bring into a relationship? What do you bring to a project? What do you bring to a job, it's just, because of the Queen of Cups here, it's something, but here's the thing. When we learn how to love ourselves, when we learn how to value ourselves, then we can share ourselves with others. So when we are working on a skill for a job or something, and we learn it and we know it, then we're like confident, and we can step forward and we can offer to others, and we can mentor others, and we can teach, and we can rise in the ranks. But in relationships, so whether it's, so you have the card of forgiveness that came out, okay? That's a skill, learning how to forgive ourselves. Because when we forgive ourselves for not being the greatest out of the gate, when we learn that everything's a learning curve, and we don't get it right the first time, and we learn how to trust ourselves and to forgive ourselves, that's true self-mastery. That's where the skills come in. That's when you can. So, the Six of Cups here, if you're looking back on past relationships and you're thinking about what other people did to you or what you did that wasn't so great, if you can forgive yourself, always forgive yourself first. I find that is the most difficult part of it. Once I learned how to forgive myself for, not being perfect, which is really hard for me to do. When I was like, I screwed that up. When I learned to be able to say, wow, didn't get that right. And be okay and comfortable with it. And forgive myself for some really big mistakes I've made. When I did that, then forgiving everybody else was a walk in the park. Because I feel most of us judge ourselves so much more harshly than we judge others. And so if you can do it for yourself, then forgiving others becomes way easier. So with that moon in Taurus on Monday and Tuesday, and you have your eclipse happening at 16 degrees of Taurus. So anything you have really between 13 and I want to say 18 degrees because of where the other stuff is really being triggered. But just because you have Taurus in your chart, you're being triggered. It happens at 6:02 a.m. Eastern Time Zone in the U.S. There is a time zone calculator in the description box below to help you locate your right time for that. But that is going to be an opportunity to release. And because of the energy around it, there's a lot of things it's going to be releasing, maybe in stages or in multiple things that are very personalized. And so it's a big shift. It's been coming for a long time. It is going to be taking a sledgehammer to a very stuck frozen wheel to get it to move. But on the other side of this, we have this forgiveness again, this balance comes in. All right, so we have debate, rage, revolution, and attention. Something really needs your attention to bring yourself into balance. In order to bring yourself into balance, forgiveness is a very key component to the situation. Who do you need to forgive? yourself or someone else, or both. Sometimes it goes like that too. And with that comes fortune, protection, skills, and possessions. I think if you've been worried about financial resources because you're looking to the future, you're being protected in this process. You have the Empress as your outgoing card. You will be fine. You will bounce back. The Empress is you. The Empress represents the Taurus energy. Taurus to me is very much Mother Gaia, and the Empress is Mother Gaia, and that is you in your most elemental energy, that of the nurturer, the grower, taking a seed, planting it, and having an abundance of harvest. There's always enough, and there's always more on the way. That is Taurus. Taurus knows how to manifest in a very earthy way to bring this all in. But there's this emotional energy that's a component of it, because with this Taurus here, with this Queen of Cups, you can't just run around analyzing, sorting through things, figuring out how to collect things of value, money, whatever, and forget that you also need things of value that are emotional in order to be complete and whole and in balance. The moon in Gemini on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have the rediscovery, the humble wanderer, and communication. I think there's somebody that you figured out something. Time, distance has allowed you to see things differently. This clarity that came in over time. You may want to, at some point in the near future, have this conversation to make sure that you're ready for it. Make sure you've already forgiven yourself and them. Like, the forgiveness thing is something you can do without the conversation. But that forgiveness of yourself and of someone else allows you to walk into that conversation with humility. Like, there's this need to say, you know what? I'm human too. And I didn't get everything right. And it doesn't mean you reconnect and you move forward together, but it allows you to reconnect yourself and be able to move forward as a whole person. Now, whether you do that together or not, that's one thing or the other. But the important thing here is that you can do it irregardless. There is a discovery here of a lost part of you, something that was lost from a disconnection to your emotions in some place along the line. And there's a need to reconnect in. And this self-mastery, there's way too many swords here. And it's like you've been looking and looking and looking. But you already have everything. The answer is in your hands. It's in your emotional energy. Everything you need is already inside of you. And so this rediscovery feels like a reconnection with yourself, with your own personal energy, with who you are as a person and as a divine being. You are both. And this communication, it wants to be had. You have 2 pages. You're thinking about it a lot. But first, there's you. First, you need to connect with yourself. First, you need to know who you are and what your worth is. And there's that self-forgiveness that keeps coming through that way. All right, so the moon in Cancer. The moon is in Cancer on Friday evening, so Saturday and Sunday, the weekend. You have gliding through the currents. With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. Take a little time out for yourself. Work on yourself. Work on your heart space. Work on what it is that will, the more you do the self-mastery in the heart space, the more you are able to connect with your ability to grow and manifest whatever you want. You create your own luck. By what you focus on, you have leaping through the air. A plan you have made is on track. If you are waiting for something, get to work. Stop putting off ideas and projects that you are considering. Get to work. The gates opened. The starting bell rang. You're going to get to go. Like the gate's coming up, you're going to get to go this week. But there is a need to do it in a very, and it may be in leaps and bounds, but there's a need to do it in a very grounded, practical, Taurus manner. But the steps are not the steps necessarily that you take out there that the world sees. It's the ones that are going on inside of you that people may not see. But you are where you need to be. You're not late. You haven't missed anything. Acknowledge how you are feeling. You're where you need to be. Acknowledge how you're feeling. There's no right or wrong answer. Your feelings, you're entitled to them just like everyone else is. They're real. What we feel is probably more real than anything else. It is through our emotional connections with ourselves and with others that our reality is really formed, right? Perception is reality. It isn't about who has the most money or the most toys that wins, right? There's the sense of pride that comes with having the most money or the most toys that some people feel. But it's a feeling. It's the pride. It's not the objects. It's the need to show other people how great I am. It's still a feeling. But sometimes some of those feelings feel hollow. So where are you really able to fill up your cup? Right? What is actually joy and happiness to you? Something to consider. Have faith the universe will take care of a current situation or concern by providing the best possible outcome for all involved. Everything is right on time right now. That gate is opening up. There is going to be a need to do a little communication. So many sorts. But I would start with communicating with yourself first. She's hugging herself. She's not hugging someone else. Start with communicating with yourself about how you really feel. And if you can do that, the clarity comes in. And the growth, the ability to completely transform your life. That potential exists right here. All right, Taurus, I'm on Facebook every day. I do a lot more astrology there than I do here. So if you're into that, but I pull cards and it's very intuitive with the astrology. So I'd love to see you there. I do a collective reading. I will be pulling cards special for this eclipse for each sign of the zodiac. If you'd like to join me for that, 7:30 p.m. That one will be done on November 6th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time zone here in the U.S. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up and supporting my work here. You guys take really good care of yourself. I support the work that you are doing there too. All right? I'll talk to you soon.